Hey everybody, I'm Anjanette Levy and welcome to my channel. Hit that thumbs up button. It really helps the video in the YouTube universe. Also, subscribe. I would love to have you as a subscriber. We've got some body camera footage that we obtained. We're also going to be talking a little bit with a special guest about the complaints from students and faculty about Brian Kohberger at Washington State University. This is just the beginning of this, and this is raw body camera footage. This is Officer Nunez. He thinks he's responding to an unconscious person. That's what he believes he was responding to. He thinks, I'm going to an unconscious college student. And what he finds is so much worse than that.
Where's she at? Yep. Where's she at? Where's she at?
Yes.
Where at? Up here?
Up here. Okay. You got to call from that someone, they're looking normal. And I just came to check in here and you can write this down. And I kept this using for you, and she's. And I didn't check her yet, but I'm pretty sure.
13. Okay, get back.
I don't know if they're still in here or not. It's really just I grabbed them. They're like
1370. Okay, stay back there, please. Slow down. Just come here. There's two. Looks like fatalities. Dude. All right.
So Hunter Johnson is telling them, this is what I found. He takes them up there and he shows them the bedroom. And Officer Nunez is like, oh my God. I mean, you heard him. He can't believe it. He can't believe what he's just seen. And then Hunter is continuing to tell them how this unfolded, how he got called over there to help. And then Nunez goes back outside.
Okay. Nobody's allowed to leave for now. Okay. Just stay here for me, please.
So he's not telling them at all what he's found. He knows he's got a crime scene on his hands, a massive crime scene. He tells them stay put. He does not tell them what he's found, and he goes to get the crime scene tape to rope off the area.
Okay, let's clear it. Thanks for. Who's over here?
Okay.
I'll just start down here.
So they're clearing the house.
Police department.
Police department. Moscow Police Department, if you're in here now yourself. Moscow Police Department.
Clear here. Going up.
Clear.
Please start it.
We're on third floor, going up. We got another. Not open each part.
Dude.
House clear?
We're clear. Let me just secure the outside first. So.
Move to the front door.
There's a back entry. I was going to start taping it all off.
Brian's taping the outside off.
Okay.
Where's the
There's two right here.
So they start taping off the crime scene. They're going to tape off the crime scene. And I'm going to bring this up to where he goes out the back door.
Check with the prints.
When he was walking back toward the front of the house, you saw that blacked out space, the redaction that was Dylan's bedroom. So he's going to the back of the house to see, oh my God, is there somebody out there? Am I seeing anything that could be somebody who was in this house? Did they take off out the back door? What am I seeing? I mean, that's my take on it. Now he's going to go talk to Dylan, and I'm going to, these are some first responders who are there, but he goes to Dylan and asks to speak to her.
And I ran upstairs. We don't know what.
She's basically telling her friends what happened.
In the main room.
This is one of the.
Pretty much they were in the main room. I heard the dancing and laughing. Kaylee went upstairs and she screamed because someone's in the room. She ran downstairs, and I kept calling her name and she wouldn't answer. And I saw the guy. I actually locked the door and I ran downstairs. We don't know what's going on.
Can you come here with me, please? Break Fire 3170. Could you guys grab some blankets for all these people out here?
Oh, okay.
Nope. Just come over here with me, please. Okay. Just give me 1 second, please. I'm going to get your name and information. Just 1 second. We'll get you a blanket and stuff, all right?
So Dylan had said to Nunez that she heard, or she was telling her friends actually, and then Nunez walks up. She heard them in the main room singing and dancing. That's what she thought she heard. So she's awakened by this sound. And the dog, I'm wondering, this is just me wondering out loud, was Xana, she was eating her food, maybe listening to music or something like that. I don't know. And then she hears the dog. Maybe Murphy's like, what's going on? And Murphy's moving around. Like, what's going on? And he's jumping around.
Okay. And is this your address?
Yes.
What's that address?
1122 King Road.
Is your driver's license right?
Yes.
Okay. How much have you seen in that?
No, I don't really know. I just saw my friend when I called because we were so scared. We're like, can you please come help us? And that's all I saw. He told us not to go in. That man right there. That helped show you around.
We did go in there.
Yeah, and that's when he told us he needed to call the cops right now.
When, do you mind just waiting over there for me, please? Okay. When, now I overheard you talking about last night.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't have to, the more we know right now, the better. We can start this process.
Yeah.
Somebody will probably be revisiting this interview with you very soon. Again, okay? So just, you're probably going to have to retell the story quite a bit.
That's fine.
All right. What do you remember seeing? What started?
I remember I was in my room and I was trying to go to bed and I heard Kaylee, who ex-girlfriend who has a dog in her.
Real fast. Which one is your room?
Kaylee.
Which one is your room?
Oh,
what room are you in? You were in that room?
My room, not Xana's room. My room.
And your room is this one right here?
Next to the stairs. That one is Xana's room.
Second floor room.
Second floor.
Okay.
All I heard was I heard go upstairs. Like, okay, I'm gonna go to sleep now because she's going upstairs.
And you heard who go upstairs?
Kaylee and the dog Murphy.
And upstairs to the very top?
Yeah, that's where her room is.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden I heard her walking up. I heard her scream, and she ran upstairs because she saw someone. That's what I'm pretty sure she said. Someone's here, and she screamed and just ran downstairs. And I called for her name, but I jumped up and locked my door because I was so scared. And then I heard someone in the bathroom, and I heard her crying, and I heard some guy say that you're going to be okay, I'm going to help you. And I kept calling her name, but she wasn't answering. And then I opened the door for a second, and I saw this guy, and he was not insanely tall, but he was wearing all black and like this mask, which is covering his forehead and his mouth. And I locked the door, and I called, and I didn't know what to do.
This was at 4
a.m., yes.
Okay.
And so then I just ran down to
you left here?
Yeah, I left my room down to she's that one with the white blinds at the very bottom. Okay. I ran down there and we talked, and we just locked the door. We didn't think anything of it. We're like, nothing happens in Moscow, so we just like tried to go to bed. And then we woke up, and it was weird because none of our roommates were up, and we called.
Did you guys catch what she said? She said nothing happens in Moscow. She said nothing happens in Moscow. I'm going to bring Cindy Holland back on. Cindy lives in Pullman. And so Cindy's going to have some comments about a lot of this. So Cindy, thanks for coming on. I'm going to back that up for a minute. How did that strike you as somebody who lives in the area? Dylan's scared. She's recounting this story, and she says, nothing happens in Moscow.
Well, it's true. You can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Great. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we live in a place, and I know it's still cliche, but we live in a place where nobody locks their doors, nobody locks their car. I mean, I never leave my car running. I hate when people do that, but people leave their car running, run into the store. I know everybody at Rosar's, I used the same pharmacy for 20 years. They just shut down Rite Aid. And I hugged the pharmacist. Like, it is a place where, I mean, it's really a dream community. Lots of smart people, college professors live here, working folks live here. And then you have, obviously, since we live on the Palouse, right, which is the Pullman and Moscow community together, it's called the Palouse. And so everyone from Moscow goes to Pullman for things and to work. And then people go from Pullman to Moscow because Moscow's a way better city as far as things to do. And you see them at the farmer's market. She's right. Like, the last time that Moscow had a murder, I think, was 7 years before. That was a fluke. Before that, we had a guy shoot a police officer and his wife who wanted to leave him. I mean, those are isolated incidents, nothing like you'd see, in New York City or LA.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, and I keep telling people, it wouldn't, even if this happened in a bigger city, this would be shocking. I mean, this is extra. I think it's extra shocking because of these cops We've seen them in other body camera footage going to this house and pouring out beer for noise complaints because you got like underage drinking. That's what they're used to dealing with.
Right. I listened to your show when you said that, and you're right. I think in a big city, this would also be a shock. And you know, I look at the public records thing once in a while on the Moscow Pullman Daily News, and it's like, you know, a neighbor yelled at a neighbor, somebody stole something out of a car. I mean, it's low level crime for the most part. And I mean, now that we know everything, it makes me even more angry. I think at the time we were just scared out of our minds. Like, we were so scared, especially because we had no idea who it was. And that raised a level. I mean, I've locked my doors every single day, both doors when I go to work now, ever since November 13th. Like, I just started, and now it's a habit.
Mm-hmm. No, it's smart.
Very smart. Yeah. Should have done it before, but like I said, it's just not something that we do here.
And I have to, you know, echo what you said. I mean, this is when I arrived in Moscow, my first trip. I mean, it was cold, it was snowy. I remember I was at my hotel and I tried to walk from my hotel. It wasn't even that far, but I tried to walk from my hotel to King Road, and it was just too crummy out. You know, I couldn't do it. You know, I was going to just walk there because my photographer hadn't arrived yet. But it just was too snowy and stuff. And then I was like, you know what? There's a killer on the loose. I should not be doing this by myself, you know? And it was like 4 o'clock that afternoon, and it gets dark there pretty early at that time of year. But it's beautiful there. Like, you drive around and there's mountains, these snow-capped mountains in the winter. And I mean, I've been there in nicer weather too. It's beautiful.
It is beautiful. And we were on a show and someone asked me why they called it the Palouse. And it's actually because, well, there's not a definitive answer. It's what they think. They think that it's been named after the Palouse peoples, which were, you know, obviously Native American. And also, and you know, because you've been there and you've seen it, but aerial shots of the area, you know, there's these rolling hills from all the wind. There's tons of wind here. And so they call those, it's called the Palouse, and it's a dual community. And I think that when this first happened, and I'm sure you figured it out when you got here, people who haven't visited this place just don't understand how close the towns are. Not just in vicinity.
Yes.
Not just in vicinity, but the difference for me, since I've worked at WSU for 12 years, I am a University of Idaho graduate and lived on the U of I campus, like probably maybe less than a mile from the home. Moscow is very eclectic. It has a community of incredibly liberal people combined with a very conservative base, and yet mostly they live in harmony. Mm-hmm. University of Idaho students are very ag-centric, and if you go to Moscow on a normal day and you just see people just wear whatever they want, it's really interesting. And I'm not saying that Pullman's that different. Pullman just has a little bit, a level of, I don't know how to explain it. I don't want to be derogatory, but it's just different. It's a little less down to earth. I mean, that's the best way to, Moscow people are down to earth. Pullman people, they're also cool and down to earth. It's just, there's just the teeniest little thing. And WSU is also an ag school. However, they have, they're most noted for their Murrow College, named after Edward R. Murrow, like the, you know, guy. I mean, I'm sure you studied him in journalism school. So that's kind of the difference. But like, these places are very seamless. They go back and forth. And that's why once Kohberger got arrested, we didn't know yet. I mean, we knew, but we didn't know. And people are like, why would he go to Winco? Why would he go here? Because that's what you do.
Right.
We don't have a Winco in Pullman. And so that, to me, that was not the strangest thing that he did. Especially now.
Well, let's play this a little more of this.
And then I heard someone in the bathroom, and I heard her crying, and I heard some guy say that you're going to be okay, I'm going to help you. And I kept calling her name, but she wasn't answering. And then I opened the door for a second, and I saw this guy, and he was not insanely tall, but he was wearing all black and like this mask that was just covering his forehead and his mouth. And I locked the door and I called, and I didn't know what to do.
This was at 4
4
this morning?
yes.
Okay.
And so then I just ran down to
You left here?
I left my room down to she's that one with the white blinds at the very bottom. I ran down there and we talked, and we just locked the door. We didn't think anything of it. We're like, nothing happens in Moscow, so we just like tried to go to bed. And then we woke up, and it was weird because none of our roommates were up, and we called all of them. They were not waking up, and so me and like, this is weird. So I called and come over, and then that's when all this happened.
Who all lives here with you?
Me, that woman right there.
Okay. There's Xana.
Hannah is the girl in there.
Is the girl that lives this one?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you spell her name?
Xana. And then there's Maddie, Mogan, and Kaylee up top. I don't know where they're at though.
Maddie
Mogan, and
Maddie
Kaylee,
Mogan.
Yeah.
And who?
Kaylee Gonzalez. She's the girl that I was talking about, Kaylee, who I just heard her go upstairs and run back downstairs.
Okay. And the guy.
So she said, I don't know if they're here. So at this point, she's like, they may not even be here. Like maybe they got up and left and went out, or she's saying she doesn't even know if they're still in the house. Nunez knows because he was on the third floor. At least he may be connecting the dots. But he said, Kaylee's the girl I heard, go upstairs and then come back down. Cindy, I think I think that was Xana. I think it was Xana who did that.
Yeah, I was really happy to hear you correct that earlier, because when the oh gosh, what's it called? When they first released the
Idaho State Police reports.
Yeah. I think we noticed right away that there was a mistake. They had put Kaylee instead of Xana. And I was happy to hear you correct it, because absolutely it wasn't Kaylee. Kaylee could not have run.
Kaylee was in the bed.
Right.
With Maddie, and she was not.
Right. Right.
And the point is, I talked about this on Crime Fix today. When these documents from Idaho State Police were first released, there is a comment in there from a crime scene investigator who is relaying what he was told in a briefing. And in his report, he said, I was briefed and told this man said, it's okay, Kaylee, I'm here to help you.
Right.
Dylan never said that.
Nope. Never said.
That's telephone game stuff. So somebody briefed somebody who briefed somebody. And obviously I can see how that mistake would be made, but in all of Dylan's statements, she never said that the guy said Kaylee. She did say in her first statement here that she thought it was Kaylee who ran up the stairs and ran back down. But she later says in another statement that we don't have yet that she, after gathering more information, she believes it was Xana. And I think that makes a lot more sense. Xana had gotten the DoorDash order and then goes back upstairs. Maybe she's eating her food. She hears this ruckus. The dog's barking. The dog comes down. Somebody's here, and she goes upstairs with the dog, possibly with Murphy, and then sees somebody's there. And she hears a scream that could have been Xana seeing somebody in her house, unexpected, and then runs down the stairs to get to her room. And then she's running past that beer pong table, I would assume, or at least trying to get past it. And then she's encountering BK fighting for her life. And that's what Dylan is hearing with the crying, I would assume. I don't know that for certain, but that's what I'm just kind of trying to piece together what could have happened based on all of the facts we know in hindsight. This, of course, is 12:17 p.m., 20 minutes after the 911 call. Go ahead, Cindy. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're okay. I had always thought that what happened, and obviously it's theory, I had always thought that Kaylee did yell, someone's here. But, I think that it is possible. But I have always thought that BK said to Xana, "It's okay, I'm here to help you."
Yeah,
Like,
me too.
there's no doubt there. And it would actually make sense though, now that you said that, you're changing how I think, because if he went up there, did what he did, Kaylee wouldn't have been able to talk. Like, we know what happened. So now I'm thinking actually what you're saying makes a lot more sense, that it's probably Xana saw him and yelled, "Someone's here." And I think it's been disputed, and I'm glad it's disputed, but I still don't know. Like, it seems like she ran, like tried to get away. But now I've seen these reenactments they did with the 3D modeling of her maybe being in the kitchen. Who knows, right?
Mm-hmm.
But she's still a hero. She fought her little tail off.
She is a hero.
That makes it so much more heartbreaking to someone like me. I cried so hard when I watched the Amazon special.
It's horrible. It
really, really got to me. And I've been stoic through the whole thing, but boy, that was rough.
Yeah, it's really sad.
Yeah,
And
it is.
It's entirely possible that Kaylee is the one who screamed. And that is why there was so much extra stuff done. That was, it was all horrific, but
absolutely.
Xana hears it. The dog is barking. She goes up to see what's going on. And he may have entered the house as she's going down to get her DoorDash, because the DoorDash information says that woman took the picture at, I think I'd have to go back and look at the police reports, like maybe 4 a.m. on the dot, 4:01. And then you get an alert on your phone saying your order has been delivered. Sometimes you get that picture. And then she goes downstairs. And that's where I think her going downstairs to maybe get the food and going back up will become relevant when you hear Dylan say some other things. So I'm going to continue to play this.
That lives here. His name was what? Or he's usually
Ethan.
And you knew he was here this morning?
No, I didn't know. I had no idea he was here.
She didn't know Ethan was there.
All right, describe the guy that you saw.
I don't think he was a little bit taller than me, and I couldn't really see much of him, but I'm almost positive he was wearing a full black outfit, and he had this mask that was just over his forehead and over his mouth, and he didn't say anything to me, like, at all. I just shut the door and locked it, because I didn't know what to do. And I think he went out, like, the sliding door in the kitchen that goes out to the backyard.
Okay.
And then I didn't know anything else, so I called, and I was like, I just need to come downstairs and find you, because I don't know where anyone else is. And I called Maddie, I called Dana, I called Kaylee, no one would answer.
Okay. All right. Whose dog? Who owns the dog?
Kaylee.
Okay. How old is Maddie?
21. Or 21 or 22. I can't remember. They're both 12 or 21, but I don't know exactly.
I think so. How old is Kaylee?
Over 21. I believe she's 21 or 22. Sorry, I don't fully remember.
It's okay. You're doing great. I'm asking a lot of you, so I appreciate you. You're doing very well.
Do you know if the other two girls are upstairs or not?
Right now, what we got to do is we got to process this whole thing.
That makes sense.
I don't know what I'd be permitted to.
That's fine.
Right
That's
now, okay?
fine. I understand.
Okay, let's go back. I just want to make sure we're getting everything. So you're sure at about 4 this morning?
Yes, it was 4:10.
You first noticed a guy.
Well, I first noticed Kaylee go upstairs and scream and run downstairs.
So 4 this morning, Kaylee went upstairs.
Yeah.
To the way top.
Yes, to her room with Murphy the dog.
Okay.
And then
you heard Kaylee scream?
I heard her scream and run as fast as she could downstairs, and she said someone's here.
She ran downstairs?
Yes, I could hear it. You can hear everything pretty much. I heard her run downstairs really fast. And then I heard Murphy barking a lot.
Okay.
And then I heard her going to I think it was the bathroom, and I remember her sobbing, And I just remember hearing this guy's voice, and I didn't recognize saying, "You're gonna be okay, I'm gonna help you." But it wasn't like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it wasn't in like a nice way. It was like a weird way, like a weird tone.
You're gonna be okay. I'm gonna help you.
Yeah. Her name, I called on my phone. I called Xana, Maddie, and Kaylee. None of them answered. So then I opened up the door to look, and that's when I saw the guy pass by. He looked at me, but he didn't come towards me or say anything, which was really confusing to me. I don't understand that. And I'm pretty sure he went out the side door. And then I called and said she thought maybe there was a fire or like a firework. We didn't know. She heard this loud noise and there was a light, I guess.
Did you hear like a pop, like a bang?
I don't know. Did you hear it bang?
What is standing out to you from this, Cindy? I'd like to know what you're picking up on, and then I'll talk about what I'm picking up on. What's standing out to me?
It's hard now because we know everything, but like thinking about it back then when we didn't know anything, her fear, and her everyone just, I mean, I'm staring at those young people sitting there and they're all bawling, and all I can think is like it's just absolutely heartbreaking. And you know, I know you and I are very familiar with all of these ridiculous comments over the last 2 years of, oh, the roommates did it. Oh, the roommates are shady. I mean, I am like, are you kidding me? You know, and so that it's bringing all of that back to me, that this poor young lady.
What's standing out to me is that she's asking if Kaylee and Maddie are in there, and Nunez is like, you can tell, you know, he's trying to just get an initial statement. He's trying to figure out what in the heck is going on. I mean, I'm looking at it just from the point of view of what is going on with Nunez. I know a lot of people have thoughts about how the scene was handled when they first got there, but I'm thinking about him. He's trying to take all this down. She said, "Are they up there?" He's like, I don't know what I can tell you right now. And he's like, we just need to go over this again. And he's like trying to make sure he's got everything, all the information from her that he can get, because he realizes I have a potential eyewitness here, you know, and he's got to get her statement. And so that's his number one priority at that point in time. And she's just like, the level of detail in what she's able to remember, given that I read some stuff last weekend where she's talking about all the alcohol they drank and stuff like that, you know, so she's like intoxicated, she's sleepy. The level of detail she's able to give to me is like pretty stunning. Even
I agree.
You know.
No, I agree, especially because right now she's in shock. And you know, when they released the photos, and I would only watch responsible news places that wouldn't show anything garish and gory. I was stunned by the amount of red Solo cups. Like,
yeah,
I mean, I wasn't a frat girl. I went to college late. I was already a mom when I went to college. So this is not my experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm with you. The fact that she has this level of detail, sometimes people would, if they saw something like this, they would absolutely not remember any of it because of the shock.
Mm-hmm.
And she's also a hero. I was thinking of that when I watched your Crime Fix. I was like, she stands out as a hero to me as well, because without her, I mean, yes, we know the knife sheath got left behind because he's an idiot. And at the same time, it's like they got onto him right away with the car, basically, you know, and seeing the license and his like driver's license and the bushy eyebrows. So like, I agree with you 100%. And I think it's heartbreaking that those two friends of hers are in that house right now and Nunez can't tell her. I mean, imagine if he told her what would happen, right?
Yeah,
there would go.
No, a lot of people don't understand this. He can't tell her.
No, absolutely not.
At this point in time, he's getting this statement from her, but he doesn't really know what happened. He just knows they have a quadruple homicide.
Right, because
everybody's a suspect at this point. Although
absolutely
telling this information to him, he has to get this information from her. And so he can't just tell her that, because it's just not his place to do it at that point in time. His job at that point in time is to get her statement.
Yeah, exactly. So like if he were to say something right now, absolutely positively he would lose any kind of, like, she would fall apart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then that would be the end of it. And I think when you on your crime fix, if I'm hearing right, I swear I heard them talking about looking for shell casings.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was the first thing you'd probably think in Idaho, not what happened.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't even know about the sheath, I don't think, at this point.
I don't think they do either. I think you're right.
I think seeing this, I've read the reports. I've covered these on Crime Fix many times. She is saying, this is what I heard. She says, nothing happens in Moscow. She was scared, but she says nothing happens in Moscow. So she went down with her friend. Her brain did not compute that somebody killed her friends.
And I'm glad you said that, because again, talking about the roommates, and after watching the Amazon, I mean, I've watched every single documentary they have, obviously, because I want to see my town and, have them get the facts straight. But I think what you just said is super important, because I don't think anybody at that age, and maybe even our age, if you see a friend passed out on the floor, you see somebody, the last thing in your mind you would ever think is what really happened. They're so young and naive. They're the scaredy cats of the house. They're just these young folks. That photo of them all together, that was plastered all over the media for the last 2 years. That photo of all of them together, you look at that and you think, these are just some kids having fun, football weekend. She's crying because she knows that Xana is dead. That's all she knows. Mm-hmm. And that some weird guy was in her house. And everyone who's like, oh, they this, and they waited so long to call 911, blah, blah, blah. Give them some grace. I say give them some grace, because what you said is so true. They never could have suspected what was actually going on. It just wouldn't have. You're right. You said it does not compute. That's not where their brain would go.
And she had just turned 19. I mean, she had been drinking. She was tired, sleepy. They're freaked out. They don't know what the heck's going on. I mean, I just don't think, it sounds all very weird. And you wake up in a haze and you're hearing all this and you're like, what's going on? And then you see this guy, and I just think I don't know. I don't want to, I just think, I hope people see this. And I feel like she is very genuine. She is authentic. She is not telling like a tale. I mean, people need to lay off.
What's that thing that they talked about when the defense was going to try to get the 911 thrown out? Remember that? What is it? The utterances?
Excited utterances, because people who are giving that information don't have time to lie. They're not off somewhere creating a story like it's happening right at that moment. And I'd never heard of that. I was really fascinated by that, but it made a lot of sense. And I agree with you. I think she's very authentic. I mean, this just happened. Like, oh, well, what were they doing all those hours? Well, actually, they were asleep for some of it, and she was scared out of her mind. And we've talked about how, because it was a party house, yes, he looked like a weirdo. Yes, I love how she said his voice sounded weird. Like, yes, it sure does. Seeing someone in the house would be very weird, but at the same time, they always have people in the house. And so a lot of times, a lot of things, people had talked about that maybe they just thought it was a hanger-on. Someone crashed and then they were leaving, All
right, who else lives here?
One thing I do want to point out, and I've pointed this out on Crime Fix before, that gray house right here, that's 1112 King Road. The camera that captured the white Elantra circling the area like a vulture is over here around the front of the house. So that's where that camera was. He's now talking to Bethany.
All right, so what time were you here last night?
About 1:24 or something in the morning.
Today?
Yeah.
1:24 you got here? Okay, what was going on at about 1:24?
And my friend watching Vampire Diaries on the couch.
You and Okay. Watching Vampire Diaries.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
And then she's just one of my friends. I'm sitting over there. I just talked.
oh, okay. All female.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so you guys watching Vampire Diaries out in this Maine?
I don't know. And then Maddie and Kayla came home from the club. And then we all hung out in Kayla's room for a little.
So Maddie and Kaylee were at the club.
Yeah.
You know how long they were there? Probably till closing at least.
I don't know. They went to drug truck afterwards.
Grub truck. Okay. And then they came home at about what time? It's okay. You're doing great.
Like 2.
So they did get home at 2.
Yes.
How do you know that?
I just have a picture of Kaylee's room with Murphy.
Okay. Then what happened after that?
And then me and Maddie took out Murphy, and then
Murphy's the dog?
yeah,
Okay.
and then I went inside to go to bed, and she was still taking him out. And then I was in my bed, like about to go to sleep, and Maddie just said that she lost Murphy. Like she was like, and was wondering if he was with me, and I just said no. And then we went to bed.
And what time do you think you fell asleep?
Maybe 2:30, 3.
Okay. What time did you wake up at all between 2 and
I heard something like loud and Murphy like bark. And usually like she barks at things. And then I thought I saw like a firecracker, so I thought someone maybe was just drunk and then put a firecracker in the house. But I wasn't even really sure because I was kind of still asleep, so I wasn't sure if it was like real.
Okay. So I'm sorry, I had listening to a couple things at a time. Loud, you thought you saw a firecracker because of a quick flash?
Yeah, through like my door, but I was like still half asleep, so I don't know if it was like real. I thought it was maybe a dream.
Okay. And then, did you ever like pick up your phone to see what time it was? Or? Okay.
Oh, maybe I might have called her and asked her what was happening, because sometimes we do things and I'll call her and be like, oh, what was happening? She's usually just pooping.
Okay.
So Cindy, I'm curious as to your thoughts.
I don't know. I guess what's striking me is that it's actually kind of what you said a while back. It's just that everybody is a suspect. Like they don't have any clue, right? And just asking like, did they have any problems? And I also thought it was interesting when they said that they were at the club. Everybody calls the corner club the club.
Mm-hmm.
And so like people that hang out at taverns or bars or whatever, it's very specific. So to me, it's like that kind of just emphasizes the whole Moscow feel. Everybody knows when they say club, they mean the corner club.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately what I thought of when he said grub truck was that thank God they had the video. You know what I mean? Because even though we don't find anything out really, at least, and I know that Mrs. Gonzalez mentioned like that's the last time they got to see their kids. You know, like they see them just living their lives. And so to me, just it kind of just encapsulates what a Moscow experience this is and how strange it is.
What stood out to me when Bethany was talking about the firecracker or the firework, this is what I think it could have been. I could be wrong about this. Of course, this is just me trying to piece it all together. Xana would have gone downstairs to get her food, her DoorDash. So was that noise? Did she turn on the light to get that? Was it Xana opening the front door to get her food? The light, does she turn the light on to go down the steps in order to get it? I don't know. Does she turn it on once she's down there? She opens the door, she grabs her DoorDash order that's been dropped off by the DoorDash driver, and then she just lets the door shut. Boom. And then turns the light off. Is that what she, if you're waking up suddenly, is that the firecracker? Because we have no evidence that BK went down to the first floor.
Right. No evidence of a flashlight. I mean, I was thinking the same thing that you're thinking. I was like, a firework? Like, what could it be? So, you know, there's no headlights, you know, I don't think at this particular time. So, and of course, when she said she heard a loud noise, the first thing I'm thinking of is that boom that we hear, but I don't think that's what it is, because that hadn't happened yet. Am I right?
Yeah, I'm not sure, because we don't really have Bethany's time. We don't really have a timeline for her, because Dylan calls her at 4:19, I think, or
right.
phone activity from Dylan, I think, starts at 4:19. He's tearing out of there at 4:20 on the surveillance camera. And then I don't know where Bethany, where that happened. That's just my thought about it. I could be wrong. Is it, you know, the DoorDash driver? Well, we already know the DoorDash driver, I think, had to walk up to the house from the surveillance video. But,
and I think I watched one of your shows recently where you talked about how, in addition to being obsessed with Ted Bundy, he was obsessed with the Gainesville Ripper, right?
yeah,
Which Scream is based on that story.
So I interviewed the Celebrate people who are very interesting and have been all through Brian Kohberger's electronics. And it seems he was more obsessed with Ted Bundy. He was obsessed with serial killers, just blanket serial killers. However, it seems to me Bundy was his favorite. And that's a good pivot for us right now. But it seems Bundy was his favorite. But Danny Rawling, the Gainesville Ripper, who the Scream movie is based on, he had searched for him in his phone. And this crime is very similar to that, in that Danny Rawling dressed in all black. He wore a mask. He targeted young college girls in their apartments, and he used a K-bar knife.
Right.
And he sexually assaulted the victims.
Yeah.
I don't want to go into too much graphic detail about what he did, but that to me,
I'm very well aware of it. You don't have to. I mean, people can Google him.
Yeah. But Ted Bundy is who he was really obsessed with. And this is a good way for us to pivot, Cindy, because I went through the Idaho State Police reports last weekend, and there are a lot of interviews with people on the Washington State University campus who interacted with Brian Kohberger, faculty and students. And there were a lot of complaints about Brian Kohberger. And I'm not getting a response from Washington State University when I'm inquiring about, well, how far up did everybody? I mean, the department knew. They were getting ready to boot him, and they did boot him. But they knew there were sexual harassment complaints. Staff, faculty, whomever was interacting with him believed he was a predator, or that he would be a predator. He was a potential future rapist, all of this stuff. And so it's like, how much creepy crap does one person have to do to actually get the boot and get removed from a program, you're sexually harassing students and you're a teaching assistant, and it's like on the record. So like out, right? But no.
No.
And the Ted Bundy part of this, Cindy, there was a student reported to the investigators that when the topic of the Moscow murders came up, that he said he wanted to start talking about Chi Omega and Ted Bundy. And he wanted to start talking about that. So he was definitely fixated on Ted Bundy. But back to my point, like, I mean, how, what's the word at WSU? Because all this information coming out, they knew. They didn't know, they didn't know he was a killer, but they thought he was a predator. So what is the word floating around Washington State University?
Well, I know I've probably told you this, but I'll tell your audience. But so I worked at the WSU grad school my first tenure at WSU, and then I left for a while and came back, and I went and I worked at the grad school again. And my boss was the same boss that Kohberger had, because I won't mention her name and I won't even mention the title, but I will just say the position I was under was basically the person that would be oversee the grad school in general, right? They're not a dean, they're a different position. But when this happened, actually when he got arrested and they said that he was a WSU graduate school TA, the first thing I did was texted the person under that person. So we'll call this person Tina. Okay. Tina was the boss, and then under Tina was Mario. So I texted Mario and I said, oh my God, it's one of our TAs. Now I work in recruitment. So I never met Kohberger or anything like that, but I'm the person that would interview people after they got accepted and then put them on the website and all that stuff. Right. And I also don't interact with the TAs, but my boss was the TA's boss. Every graduate, TA or RA or GA, they call them a grad assistant, are all under her. So I texted Mario and I said, oh my God, I can't believe it's one of our TAs. And he said, I know. So once we get to back, to work, everybody's talking about it. Nobody can believe it. And interestingly enough, when I had my one-on-one meetings with Tina, what she told me was, that guy has been a pain in the ass since day one. And I was like, huh. So yes, they knew about it. And we were told or asked, please do not talk to anybody about this. You have the First Amendment rights, so you can if you want to, but we're asking that you don't. And the reason that you've probably had such a hard time, and everybody had a hard time, is because their university comm section is literally like 4 people. One spokesperson, that's it. And you've probably seen, he would come out and say, we're not talking to anyone about this at this time. Of course, students can say whatever they wanted. Students have so much power because we're a university. And one other interesting tidbit I will share with you. Once he was in jail, I was in a meeting with Tina, and this guy came in. I'm guessing he's like the sheriff, because he was this huge guy with the hat, and whatever. And they interrupted our meeting because he needed to talk to Tina. And they had not turned off his TA ship yet. And then they were scrambling because they wanted to make sure he wasn't going to get a paycheck in jail. Like they literally, I don't know if you've ever worked at a university, but things at universities move incredibly slow.
Yeah.
Everything is caught up in red tape. We're a government agency, etc. And so they were like scrambling to say, this guy's not getting a paycheck from us while he's in jail. And so, I did my best to, the whole reason I got involved in any of the podcasts was because I was watching a podcast one day and they were interviewing someone and they were talking about the Corner Club. And the host said, what's it like? And he said, I've never been there. And that's why I was like, okay, I got to DM this person and say, can you please have someone on that has been in the corner club? Because it's important that the local folks get to say things, even though I'm not connected with the family. I am a part of this community.
Mm-hmm.
And they requested for us not to talk about it, you know?
Right. No, I'm sure every university, you know, both of them probably said, don't talk about this. Both of them. I just can't get over what I read, the material that I read about the number of complaints, the opinions of the people in this department. I mean, these are not just like, these are people who like assess criminals.
Right.
And they're like, oh my God, we got to get rid of this guy.
Right.
And yet it just seems like you should have a little more. They were worried about a civil suit. It seems like you should have a little more recourse or a little more ability if you think somebody is, I mean, you're sexually harassing students.
Right. And that's who's most important.
Yeah. Like out.
Yeah.
Out. Like
Yeah.
done. You're in a position of authority.
Right.
And you're sexually harassing a student or two or however many. And yes, you're getting these complaints, but it was sexual harassment that they were complaining about. And a professor is getting I assess predators, and he's like a predator, and they think he's a possible future rapist because of. It's just beyond me, Cindy, how they couldn't hit the eject button more quickly. Like when you think, not that it would have prevented this, but
right.
I guess in my mind, I'm just thinking to myself, whoa, you gotta yes, you might get a civil suit, but you also, yikes. That's all I gotta say,
I agree. And, in this community, we have very few places to work. So we've got WSU, we've got University of Idaho, and we have Schweitzer Engineering Laboratories. I've worked at all three. Mm-hmm. I've stayed at WSU because Washington State pays more than the state of Idaho.
Right.
And I loved working at U of I because I'm a Vandal. I felt so loyal. Going to work every day was great, but I worked like 60-hour weeks and I could not afford to feed my family. Like I just had to leave. I know it was so awful. Really, like we're talking $15,000 more a year at WSU than U of I. Now U of I's changed because they know now that they have to compete with WSU. So they have actually done a really good job at improving that. I worked there in the 15s, the 10s. But I also worked at SEL, and Schweitzer Engineering Laboratories is a private industry. They will fire somebody on the spot. No recourse, no regret. You're gone. Mm-hmm. It's not like that as at a university, and you know that. And I think it's more than the civil suit. I think, and I'm just pontificating here, but like, when we were asked not to talk about the case, please don't talk to the media. It has so much to do with the reputation of the university. Mm-hmm. Are you familiar with the Lauren McCluskey murder?
No.
Okay. We should talk about it sometime, not on the show, but maybe just if we see each other. Yeah. Lauren McCluskey was a Pullman local, beautiful young woman, went to University of Utah. She was shot by her boyfriend in the parking lot while she was on the phone with her mother. Lauren had called the police. Lauren had tried to do everything that she could. She fought tooth and nail to get them to do something about this. He was stalking her on and on and on. And he ended up borrowing her car. And then when they went to return it, he shot her. So her parents have started the Lauren McCluskey Foundation. And their motto is, I will believe you if you are being stalked or harassed. Like that's their motto. They sued University of Utah, got a bunch of money, and that's what they made the foundation. But it took them 2 years, I think, just to get people to take it seriously. And they ended up having to file the lawsuit. Wow. University of Utah, they had to come out in public and say, we made a mistake. And, they didn't say it that way. Mm-hmm. But that was at the crux of it. So I think what you're talking about is really interesting and really important because yes, maybe it wouldn't have prevented anything, but if students are our main focus, and they are, and I'm a student-centered person, I love the students. If a student is being sexually harassed by their TA, you would think that would be the end of it. And he blew up at professors. He was complaining all the time. And I think that part of your show tonight is about his complaints, or is that a different show?
Well, we're going to wrap it up because I had some tech issues in the beginning, Cindy. I'm not exactly a tech wizard here. So I had some tech issues in the beginning that kind of threw me. So we're going to have to get to that maybe another night because I have somebody coming on to talk about that. And
great.
Maybe you'll come back to talk with me too.
Okay.
But we're going to hit that another night. And I think there's more to discuss. But I really appreciate you coming on and hanging out with me.
It's a pleasure. It's like being in a room with you.
We are going to wrap this up for the night. Cindy, I hope you'll come back. We have more to talk about, and we'll get the tech issues figured out for next time. So thank you to the mods. Webby, I think Webby's here. Maybe she's not. Again, I'm having problems with the chat and everything. But thanks to the mods. The docket's been in the house. Melmac, Monty, and Monana, thank you for being here. And thank you to everybody for watching. Remember to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. I might do a cut down version of this because some people seem to like that. And we will see you again soon. Take care, everybody. Have a great Friday night and take care of yourselves. See ya.